Hello there YouTube, it's Gojira Prime with another Transformers video review, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Energon Rodimus. Now this is the Cybertron Trilogy's incarnation of Rodimus, aka Hot Rod as well I imagine, but he was never known as Rodimus Prime because he was never the leader of the Autobots. He was a leader of a sub-faction, so he was just called Rodimus. So we'll just go around the figures vehicle mode first of all, and we'll have a look at that first. Now I have to admit, I actually quite like this vehicle mode for a Rodimus figure, at least anyway. It's a kind of souped up racing truck with rocket thrusters here on the back of the vehicle mode, and I really like it. Now it's in the traditional Rodimus / Hot Rod colors, so you know we've got a red color for the majority of it with some black highlights, gold tinting here on this very large bumper section, flames on the front of the vehicle, and some very nice paint, gold paint here on the wheels as well. It does have a couple of Autobot logos. There's one here on the side, and the Autobot crystal here on the back of the figure also. And that's about it, really. Rolls very nicely. And you can also fit Rodimus's weapon on the back here, which is this large translucent orange piece you can see there. All in all, yeah, I really do like this vehicle mode. It's quite nice that they made Rodimus a truck instead of like a space Winnebago like what they normally do. The windscreen is painted in this very nice silver color as well, same as the smokestacks here. But yeah, I mean, it's a very nice racing truck for Rodimus, which, you know, I think is really quite nice. Just to do a comparison with it, if I just move the camera a little bit here, there we go. Just in vehicle modes, here he is with the Transformers Classics Rodimus, or Hot Rod. And, you know, although these are separated by about 4 years worth of design and so forth, I can actually, you know, you could actually see this car version evolving into this racing truck version quite easily, really. But yeah, he's about the same length, well, in vehicle mode as his deluxe class classics counterpart, as you can see there. And just as a comparison with my more recent Rodimus figure, here he is with the Power of the Primes leader class Rodimus Prime. So there is quite a size difference there between the two. And if I just unpeg Power of the Primes Rodimus, here he is again with the smaller vehicle mode. So there are some common aesthetic similarities with the Rodimus character, obviously. Predominantly the red color with the flame decals. And I think this, as a vehicle mode, is quite a nice evolution for Hot Rod or Rodimus to be a truck. So what I'll do is I'll just get the figure transformed, and then we'll take a look at him in his robot mode and do some more size comparisons. Okay, so now we have Rodimus transformed into his robot mode. So we'll just run around the figure very quickly. You can see, if I just take his gun off for 1 second, the figure itself is fairly misproportioned, I think, in some ways. I mean, in the Energon cartoon, this is how he looked pretty much. I think, you know, they just scanned the images of the toys into the show, and that was it. So he does have rather large shoulder pads, which are made up from the rear wheels, and the engine thrusters now become his hands. Now, he does have fairly decent articulation. You can move his arms forward and back and a little bit out to the side. Well, very little, actually not at all really. He has no hand articulation, so his limits are limited. You can move them back and forth like this at the joint, which is here, but that's about it really. His feet, there is no foot articulation. His feet really are just these giant slabs that are made up from the front of the truck mode, but you can get some motion back and some motion forward, and they will move at the waist as well. So there we focus. But all in all, I think it's a nice robot mode at the end of the day for Rodimus. The articulation's a little limited but obviously, all the figures from the Energon period had limited articulation in some way. Just to get up close on the face. And it's a G1 themed head sculpt for Hot Rod / Rodimus, with the silver face, the red helmet, and then the yellow horns are painted on as well on the figure. Now, he does have these large orange bits which stick out from the back of the feet there to keep him stable. You can fold them back. Well, you can't really fold them back in when he has his feet deployed, because when he's transformed, they just fold in like that. But if you have the feet out, they don't really go away very well. So you can have him like that if you want to, but it does make the figure a little bit more unstable. Not a great deal, but it does make it a little bit more unstable. So yeah, all in all, quite a nice little robot mode. I do like the paint apps that are on this thing, the gold flames on the feet and the chest section. So yeah, all in all, quite nice. Obviously, the back is not as nice as the front, but that's not really a problem. You don't have him like this on your shelf at the end of the day. You have him like this on your shelf. And again, you have the translucent orange weapon system, which does fire its missile. Still works 20 years down the road. So, you can just plug that into his hand like so. Now, just as a size comparison, sticking with the Rodimus theme, here he is with the Classics Rodimus figure. So he's a little bit bigger than a standard deluxe class figure from like the Classics line. And again, it's quite nice because you can see like this guy becoming this guy, evolutionary wise. I mean, I know this mold, I think this mold got reused maybe once as part of the Transformers Collectors Club or BotCon or something. But I think it's only ever been used once. But yeah, that's quite a nice evolution for this character, I think, as well, going from this Classics car hot rod vehicle to this version of Rodimus. I think that's quite a nice evolutionary thing for those. And then here he is again with the more recent Power of the Primes Rodimus. And there is quite a size difference between the two, as you can see. And again, here he is with the Power of the Primes Rodimus figure in its smaller mode as well. And then just finally, here they are, all three of them together as well. So, is Transformers Energon any good? Is Transformers Energon Rodimus any good? I think it's an okay figure. I don't think it's aged particularly well, along with a lot of other figures from the Energon line, to be honest. But I do think it's a nice figure for the period. And if you are into the older Transformers brands, such as Energon, I do think the figure is probably worth picking up at the end of the day. I do quite like it. Now, obviously, we've had the news recently that we are getting, or we've seen the images, I should say, really, of the new Commander class Rodimus Prime that's going to be coming out soon. I have to admit, that Rodimus I probably will pass on because I really do quite like this guy and how he looks in my collection. And as nice as the new command class Rodimus figure is, Rodimus to me shouldn't be a command class. That's bigger than Optimus Prime, for goodness sakes. So he should be about the same scale really as Optimus. So I think a leader scale really is as big as you need to get for Rodimus at the end of the day. But ultimately, yeah, this guy, he's very, very nice. And if you are looking at some of the older Transformers stuff, I do think it is worth picking up to add to your collection. So that's my very quick review on Transformers Energon Rodimus. I hope you have liked the video. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment below, and thank you very much.